God has given to me to give to you. So when I'm called to remembrance that unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lewis and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in thee also. I'm often reminded of a story, true story, that it was 1995, and perhaps I'm dating. How long have I been here? Since 1995. One of my older sisters, that the doctor said she would never get pregnant. And if she do get pregnant, she would not be able to carry her baby for 9 months. There's a high possibility that every time she will get pregnant, she will have a miscarriage. So my sister, she got pregnant, and in March of 1995, at 3 months, she went into delivery. She was bleeding, and all she couldn't remember or recall what the doctor said, that if she do get pregnant, she's going to have a miscarriage, or will not be able to birth that baby for 9 months. And as she was in a delivery room, the doctor spoke to my moms and said that if this baby do survive, that it's going to be handicapped, have all types of illness or sickness, and won't probably be able to function. What do you want to do? There are some tough decisions oftentimes believers have to make. But what I found that was very strange, that the doctor did not ask my sister, but it asked my mother what it is you want to do. And as my mom says that we want to keep the baby no matter what. She looked at the doctor and she said to the doctor that the baby will live and the baby will not die. And as she spoke to my sister and told her the possibilities, what the doctor had conveyed to her, as the doctor and her was in the delivery room, and she told my sister that I want you to give your baby to me. I want you to give your baby to me. Needless to say that my sister went into labor, and she had the baby, and of course the baby was very small, premature, had to stay in a hospital for several months, so they had to do testing and everything like that to see if he's going to be normal, and everything like that. So needless to say that it got home, the baby was very small, didn't know the baby was going to make it, but my sister gave her child over to my mother. And my mother says, this is my miracle baby. Needless to say, 23 years later, that same baby, in a couple more years, will be a doctor. Needless to say, 23 years later, one of his mentors is Ben Carson, where he performs classical musicals for people who are celebrities and everything else. Because my mother had what Paul said, called unfeigned faith.
Yeah.
So today I want to tag my text, Big Mama. Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama has always been significant within our community. Now, I have not experienced what Timothy and Kwani, my nephew, had experienced. But I want to make it prevalent and make you understand how significant what Paul is pending to young Timothy. Paul is telling young Timothy that you come from good stock. You come from a pedigree background full of faith. See, it was my mother, but it was Kwani's grandmother. It was her faith that hold everything together. It's very important. It's very important in most of our communities. The man or the husband is absent, or if he's there, he's not spiritual.
Preaching in this house.
Because there always was a separation, and it was Big Mama who was the matriarch, who kept everything together. I mean, let me let you get to understand my particular text, my particular role. I know it's not Mother Day, you know what I'm talking about, but we have to celebrate those who had accomplished great things in the faith, because we're here today because it was Big Mama when the man wasn't in the household, when the community was running rapid. It was someone there to say, I'll take that baby. I would take that child. In the midst of it, you had grandmothers raising 17 kids. And none of their kids got locked up. Young people, I'm teaching y'all something this morning. I'm teaching you something more. The problem is that the scripture said we need to go back to the old landmarks. We have to go back and figure out what made us so great. What made our kids not sway? What made our kids not go the wrong way? It was because Big Mama took charge. Took charge. And what Paul is saying to young Timothy, you got something. Big Mama gave you something. See, now you have to understand how important this is right now, because Timothy's mother was Jewish. Now, if y'all, now, I go from preaching to teaching if y'all don't act like y'all read the Bible.
His father was Greek.
What was he?
Greek.
Oh, come on, help me out now. Help me out. So can I break this thing down? Can I break it down? His mother was what? Come on, y'all can talk now. Come on, help me. His mother what? No, what his mother was?
Jew. His father was Greek.
His father was Greek.
His mother
Acts chapter 6. Acts chapter 16. Okay. Acts chapter 16. Acts chapter 16. 1 to 3. You hit it. You know, we ain't gonna go there because you just go on your own time now. On your own time. Because I gotta do all the change. You know, if I gotta do the whole pages, doing all that stuff, then that could be 2 hours. Acts chapter 16. 1 through 3. Paul finds Timothy for Derbe and Lystra. Right? He was already a believer and a disciple. But the scripture tells us that the mother was Jewish and his father was a Greek. And everybody knew that Timothy's father was a Gentile. Was a Gentile. Now, he was in a Gentile colony. I counted him in Lystra and all those places. That was the very place where they stoned Paul at and left him from dead. He comes from an environment where it was very few believers. He comes from an environment where his dad practiced paganism. He comes from an environment where as they worship Diana and other deities and other gods. Timothy could have went either way. I want to paint this picture, Miss Caviar, so you can really see what Paul is trying to say and what I'm trying to convey to you this morning. That Timothy had options to not even to go to church anymore. His dad didn't go to church. His dad was a Gentile. But the scriptures tells us that Big Mama had influence on Timothy. Had influence, had great influence on Timothy's decision to even go to church. They had to go to church. This lady we call Lois may never ever, Michelle, be in the Faith Hall of Fame.
That's right. Come on,
That probably we don't hardly even talk about in the church. But she had a significant impact on her grandchild.
Wow.
On his decision to go the right way. Because the scriptures tells us Timothy is a young man.
That's right.
Huh? She put something in Timothy as a young child
That's it. Wow.
that stuck with him. Big Mama.
Yeah, let's see that. Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Thank God for Big Mama.
Big Mama was the one who had the influence.
Yeah, come on here. Glory.
When she spoke,
Look now. Yeah. People listen. Come on here now.
come on now, come on, y'all act like y'all don't know now.
Yeah.
Huh? You're talking about when she spoke, everybody listened because we knew that she heard
Yes.
from God. That's why I told you I thought it was interesting that the doctor would talk to my mama and not to the. He knew something.
Yeah.
He knew something.
That's it.
And Paul is pinning this text and telling Timothy, it was Big Mama.
Yeah.
It was Big Mama who had that unfeigned faith.
Wow.
What kind of faith is unfeigned faith? What is unfeigned faith? He said it's that unwavering faith. Now, we ain't talking about that faith just to believe in Jesus Christ. We're talking about faith that can stand a trial. Huh? I'm talking about when tragedy rocked your house. Big Mama have a way of holding that thing together and tell you that everything gonna be all right. He telling you that Big Mama had something. She had something that when the family don't think that they can make it. Right. And when they didn't know how she was going to feed all the kids, Big Mama would say, God will provide. Come and help me this morning. That's that unfeigned faith that Paul's saying. Timothy, Big Mama put something in you. He said, Big Mama put something in you. Big Mama put something in you. And you got to understand our particular text, because now during this particular time, it's male dominated.
That's right. Amen.
And you rarely see a lady.
Come on now. Yeah.
That Paul lifts up highly in our particular text. And says she had something. She had. She had
something.
something.
Yeah. Glory to God.
She had something, brothers and
My
sisters.
God, my God. Thank you, Lord.
He said, when I
My God.
put to remembrance
Mm.
that unfeigned faith that's in you that was first
Yeah.
in your grandmother. It was first in her. It was first in her. It was first in her. It was first given. It was first given. It was first in her. He said that that same faith was transferable.
That's right. Yeah, it is. It is. Yes,
It was passed down. It was passed down.
Thank you, Lord.
See, the problem, most of us, we haven't been raised in a faith house.
All right now.
Huh? Well, y'all, I'm talking about when you signs and miracles and wonders is unusual to y'all.
Come on here. Watch out, Pastor.
Huh? But this was unusual for Timothy.
Yeah. Come on now.
He was raised with a grandmother.
That's it. Come on here.
When he seen this stuff operates and works.
Yeah, that's right.
So that unfaith faith, now unwavering, it means sincere or pure faith. In its essence, pure as it can be. And he said that Timothy, all that, it's in you.
It's in you.
It's in you, Timothy. It's in you, Timothy. Now you see 3 generations. Eunice,
Yeah.
Eunysus,
Yeah.
and Timothy.
Yeah.
3 generations
Yeah.
of that same faith. Cause Lois.
Yeah.
Cause Lois. Because this grandmother decided.
Yeah.
They say you ain't going away, you're your daddy.
Come on now. That's right. That's right. Come on here. That's it.
I know your daddy was a Gentile. I know he was a Greek.
Come on here.
I know he didn't worship the true and living God.
Yes.
But for me in my house, see, grandma had a way, grandmother had to say, me in my house, we're going to serve the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I don't care what your daddy say.
That's it now.
I don't care where your friends go at. But your mama going to church. Okay, you can't find your tennis shoes, your shoes. You going to church. Big Mama called the shots because Big Mama knew what it took to keep you alive.
That's right. Amen.
Timothy could have went anyway. Timothy could have went anyway. Any of us could be a Timothy.
That's right. Amen.
Huh? Any of us in the neighborhood in the time that we was born, any one of us could have been that. But thank God for the Big Mamas.
That's it. Amen. Amen.
Thank God for the Lewis that was in our family, who refused to allow us to be another victim, another statistic.
Glory to God.
Refused to allow that to happen.
Yes.
They allowed death to take us.
Yes.
Because she had
Unwavering. Yes.
faith.
Amen. Amen.
Lois had it. She had it. Paul says that this lady had what we call influence.
Yes.
How you know she had influence? Because of the decision that her daughter made. And a decision that Timothy
May.
has made. She used her influence to change the trajectory of her family.
Amen. Amen.
Look at this. The daughter is a believer, and she married an unbeliever.
Yes.
I'll leave that. No, I'll exegete that text one day. That when a believer marries the unbeliever,
Come on now.
why important you need grandma
That's right. Come on here. That's right.
to hold that thing
Together.
Yeah.
together. Because there's gonna be problems in the home. Boy, you don't have to go to church. You don't go to church. You don't gotta do that. But grandma said, "You going to church, then?" You going to church?
Yeah.
Grandma, she had that unwavering faith, that genuine faith.
That's it.
And he says that, Timothy, don't you know you got a rich inheritance?
Yes.
That all that is in Timothy.
Yeah.
And Timothy wasn't doing anything
With it. Amen.
with that faith.
Amen.
All that rich heritage.
Jesus.
All that they put in you.
Wow. Wow.
And Timothy, you're not doing nothing
Oh God.
what Big Mama
Help us, Holy Ghost.
had invested in you.
Wow.
All that time reading the scriptures to you. All that time praying over you. All that time fasting over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not doing anything
Yes.
with that type
Wow.
of faith.
My God.
I know this lady had to be something because Paul praised
Yeah,
this
he did.
lady.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He did that.
faith.
Wow.
He recognized
Wow.
this lady's faith
Yeah. Yeah.
that she had on a whole family. The question, brothers and sisters, I have for you, even this morning, where's the big mamas?
Watch out, Pastor.
Yes.
Are they in the clubs
Watch out.
with their grandbabies,
Watch out, Pastor. Watch out now. Come on here. You preaching in this house.
with their daughters?
Watch out, Pastor.
If they're so busy
Wow.
trying to be young,
Yes.
Tell it.
You preaching now.
instead of
Wow.
saving the whole family.
My God.
What happened to us? What happened to the Lewises?
My God.
Is there any Lewis of our days anymore?
Wow.
Who refuse to allow our young babies and our young kids
Oh God.
to be another statistics in the street?
Yes.
My God.
Because in our neighborhood, over 97% of the fathers not in the home.
Yes.
Is there any time that we need big mamas again?
Oh
Yes,
God.
it is.
It'll be now.
Now. Right now.
It'll be now.
Right now.
It'll be now. It'll be right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Because these babies don't have mamas anymore.
No.
They even sprung out on drugs,
Yeah.
running after a man.
Yeah.
We need big mama
Yes.
to
My
bring
God.
it
Oh God.
back
Jesus.
to the moms get it right.
Wow.
To the babies
Jesus.
get it
Oh God.
right.
Yes.
My God.
She didn't wait to the preacher,
No, she didn't. No.
the
She
rabbi.
No, she didn't. She waited for the priest. Come on here. No,
She said that I'm going to
Yeah.
do something
That's it. That's it.
so Timothy,
Yeah. She was the evangelist. Come on now.
so my daughter
Yes. Come on here.
won't be led astray.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm going to put something in there.
My God.
I'm going to put something in. How do you pass down this type of faith?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you how.
Wow.
That's what my mom used to do. That's what she would do. She would tell us what God is about to perform.
That's it. And then watch.
Huh?
Let y'all watch him do it.
Watch her work.
That's it.
Watch her work.
That's it.
Watch her. What? That's how you pass it down. That's how you pass it down. It was a watch God work.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Huh? See, watch it work. Watch it work. Watch it work. Every time it been a crisis, she'll say, watch God work in this thing.
That's it.
Watch God work this thing out. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I know he's going to work it out. And as kids, my nephew was my mom's grandson. Watch her at work.
Yeah.
Work that faith. She worked that faith in that house.
Yes. Yeah.
They seen Lewis at work. And that same faith that my grandmother had, my nephews had, and my niece
had.
Every time you turn around in Baltimore, you hear young people going, we don't live in the best neighborhood.
All right.
I'm going to put this so y'all can understand it this morning.
That's right.
And for him to want to go to school to be a doctor
Yeah.
Yeah.
is unheard of.
That's right. Well, now.
It was because my mom said, give them to me. That same faith that my mom's had, my sister had,
Yeah.
and Kwani had.
Yeah.
That unwavering faith. That every time crisis and stuff appears, you know that God going to work that.
That's right. That's right.
And Paul tells Timothy, that's in you. Y'all Bible readers, all through the Old Testament, New Testament, never mention that a grandmother had this much influence
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
on a whole family.
Yeah.
They will talk about ladies, mothers, but never talk about generational.
That's right. Amen.
How impact generationals that the big mama had played in this life.
That's right.
She had to be pivotal in this point because he grew up in a Gentile city.
That's right.
That means I don't care where you live at, if you have someone have faith like Big Mama, you can have a kid that don't go astray.
Wow. Amen.
You can have a good kid.
That's right. Amen.
Yo, mess my sermon up. You tell me he don't got to smoke weed?
That's right, Pastor. Come on now.
Come on now, I know they're talking about. You got to experiment. The best way to learn is to try.
No,
The
that's
devil
the
is a
world's
lie.
way.
Amen. The devil is a lie.
You're talking about this foreign today, Ralph. This foreign to some people. That baby don't have to have sex. Out of wedlock, you don't have to do it. Big Mama, hold that thing together. She come in there and smell you.
That's so good.
And know it. Amen.
Yeah.
Glory to God.
You in heat?
All right. All right now.
Let me talk to you. See, she had those talks. She had those talks. But some of us didn't talk about it in the right here. Come here, boy. Come here.
Come here.
She ain't talking about the birds and the bees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real talk to you.
Yeah. Come on in here. Glory to God.
Tell you better than this. That's what God's word said about that.
That's it.
You don't need no fast girl. You're talking about Big Mama. Hold things together.
Yes.
Lois held things together until they was able to hold it together
Amen.
for themselves.
That's right. That's right.
The problem that Paul is dealing with, that all that Timothy has in him, he's not even using.
Wow.
Timothy is dealing with a crisis in his life. Because the one that he always depended on, the one who always spoke up for him, the one who always defended him,
Wow.
is no longer on the scene.
Yeah.
His spiritual father,
Yeah.
his daddy, who laid hands on him,
Yeah.
put gifts in him,
Come on now.
who trained him,
Yeah.
who was his disciple, no longer is on the scene. He knows that Paul's time is very short.
Yeah.
And the problem with Timothy, he was timidity, right? He'll shrink away from confrontation.
Yeah.
And that's why Paul would tell in Rome and other places that be careful how you deal with Timothy.
Yeah.
As long as Paul was there, he can always protect Timothy. But now he can't protect Timothy.
All right. All right.
Timothy is the pastor at Ephesus, and what's going on there is an uprising going up in the church.
Yeah.
People creeping in, want to overthrow and tell Timothy, you're no longer the pastor of the church.
Wow. Wow.
You remember he tells them, you got a hardship as a good soldier?
That's right.
You have to stand up, Timothy. You have to do something. God had put all this in Timothy through years, and he didn't do nothing with it. In the midst of crisis, this faith he's talking about, Timothy, you're going to have to use this right now.
That's it. That's it.
They're going to overthrow you, young Timothy. Paul praying from church. He praying with from the prison with tears in his eyes. I said, remember, don't you? But he can't do nothing
That's right.
for Timothy.
That's right.
I can't be there for you, Timothy, but Paul said I could pen a letter.
Yes.
And I could bring back to remembrance the unfailing faith that you have, that your grandmother had, that your mother had. And Timothy, I can encourage you and tell you,
That's right. You got that same thing.
you got that same thing.
That's right.
I don't care what you're going through, Timothy.
That's right.
I don't care how bad the crisis is. I don't care how bad the situation is. Didn't you see how Eunice handled this thing?
Yeah.
Didn't you see how your mother handled this
That's
thing?
right. That's
And now you can handle it too.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Amen.
As I begin to close, you know our favorite scripture, and I'm going to leave y'all with this. That's why he told Timothy, stir up the gift
Yeah,
that's already
Yeah, that's already in it.
in you. You're gifted.
Yeah.
You have the faith, and you're gifted.
Yeah.
Why is it lying dormant, Timothy?
My God.
Because of fear, phobia. The enemy can have you so scared
Yes, he will.
Yeah, he can.
that you don't use all the stuff that God has already
That's right.
have in you.
Amen. Amen.
And Paul says, stir it up.
Yeah. That's it.
Kindle the flame.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Put the sparks back in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Bring that thing back alive.
Come on now.
Bring it operative so you can be able to use it
That's right. That's right.
in the midst of your crisis.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Do the work of evangelist, Timothy.
Yes.
Amen.
You're gifted as an evangelist. An evangelist's job is to save the unsaved.
Saved. Yes, it
Your
is.
church is full of sinners.
Yes, it is.
Come on here.
Yes, it
Do your work, son.
is. Yeah.
My God. My God.
That's what Paul was telling young Timothy.
Mhm.
Oh God.
Eunice gave you something.
Mhm.
I gave you something.
Yeah.
Now work that God has already put in
That's right.
you.
Amen.
As I begin to close, it's vital that you understand how important it is that Big Mama, such as Lois,
Yeah.
plays a part in most of our communities.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
We can never forget who really hold that thing together. When the dad was in Vietnam and other places,
Wow.
they was forced to be in a position
That's right.
where a man should be at.
Amen.
But they said, I will step up
Yes.
and I will do it because my daughters need me, my grandkids
Yes.
need me.
That's right. Amen.
Some of us are all grandparents. Some of us are going to be future grandmothers. I ain't putting over y'all right now. Not too early.
Amen. Amen.
But you can change
Mhm.
everything. You can.
Mhm.
That man may not be saved, may not be in the house. But you can change everything yourself.
That's right.
And this one lady changed a daughter and a grandson.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that grandson did some amazing
Hey.
things.
Yes, he did.
She raised up a powerful man
Yeah.
of God,
Yes.
pastor of church, evangelist,
Yeah.
young Timothy,
Yeah. That's Big Mama.
because of Big Mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul said he could look at Timothy and could see Big Mama
Yeah.
Hall loaf.
Wow.
I know who your grandma is. Let me leave y'all alone. I'm all done. I pray y'all been blessed.